and the
Hey guys, I'm hoping you got this audio. It's Franky Rose. I've been working on this and I've hopefully got it. So let me know. Here we go.
once unfortunately the news reaches that she has passed, it will go to the prime minister, and then there's a kind of a call that will go to the people who need to know, the ministers of Britain, and then eventually they want it within 10 minutes of people of an email going out that she has passed, that they will lower the flags across there and across the entire country. So when that goes down, that'll be the signal. We may hear before that, but as tradition lies, that would be the telltale sign.
And it's raining in multiple locations. We see all the umbrellas outside of Buckingham Palace. We have also seen rain coming down. You might be able to see it on camera, or at least we were able to a short time ago. Not sure if it's still raining, but it was clearly raining a moment ago here at Balmoral. And there has been some traffic going in and out of these gates as we.
No, she hasn't passed, but it's not looking good. She's on strict bed rest, and they have taken her to the hospital. Anytime they say that a 96-year-old is resting comfortably, it's distress. And she's been our queen my entire life. So, I mean, a lot of people will say it's just a title, but she's held that title for a very long time and has literally spent her entire life working for the country. Okay. I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Let's see here.
This is all anyone is talking about,
Mm-hmm.
all anybody is thinking about. This is a moment in time that it's unfortunate, but of course, this is one of those moments in time where you'll remember where you were and remember what you were doing that day. Of course, now we have some more traffic coming in to Balmoral's front gates.
And there was an aircraft bringing some of her family members to Aberdeen, which is the airport in Scotland, and then they would have to drive from the airport to their estate there, Balmoral. So and that would include people, all of her children, some of her grandchildren. We know that Meghan and Harry did happen to be in Europe. They were making their own travel plans to get there because they weren't in England, but that means Charles, who would be King Charles when she passes. He is the first heir, and then his sister Anne and their brothers Andrew and Edward are all gathering at Balmoral right now.
The palace in their latest communications saying that the Queen is comfortable in remaining at Balmoral and that her son Prince Charles and grandson Prince William were at that point on their way to be with her and might, as we understand it, be with her as of right now. There's something that I want to pass along to our audience that is so very important, and it's more.
This is sad.
When news of this magnitude begins to develop, there are those online who are looking to capitalize on that type of a moment. And so there's already been erroneous reports circulating online that she has passed
look real,
that have the look and have the call letters and the logos and everything that you would identify with your brain as being a reputable news source, but it's not. And even some reputable news sources have made the mistake this morning of having an article written that, as we call it in the news industry, in draft, and then accidentally publishing that article too early. That this is some of what goes on behind the scenes as far as the news industry. So it's really important that everybody remembers that, as I understand it, procedurally, the BBC is the only source of information other than, of course, the monarchy itself.
And I believe that is correct. It is the source of record. The on-air talent at the BBC have already changed into dark-colored clothing. There is this, there's a long-held list of what will happen when the Queen dies, and some people are speculating that BBC changing into the dark clothes may be an indication that some of that checklist is getting ticked off at this point. So we don't know that because that list is quite secret and has been kept under wraps for many, many, many years.
And there's so much in place as far as the preparations for this moment, correct? I mean, the Operation London Bridge is one of the primary operations that are put into place as far as preparation goes,
right?
To prepare for this moment.
Yes, because the right people need to know. Just like you're not going to find out, you don't want the prime minister to find out on Twitter, So the prime minister is one of the first calls, and then it would go down from there. One thing that a lot of us in America are learning new things today, because I had heard about the London Bridge protocol, but the Today Show was reporting that the London Bridge protocols were if she were to pass in London. Well, as you know, she is at Balmoral, which is in Scotland. And so there is another set of a list of things that will happen there. And that, according to the Today Show, is called Operation Unicorn. So these are things that have been well established, especially as we have a monarch who's served for 70 years and well into her 90s. They're going to know exactly what to do. And the right people are going to know. And when the prime minister finds out, She, who was just appointed appointed 2 days ago, one of the last times anybody has seen the Queen. The Queen was able to come out and do that, and so she will be the new prime minister will be the one to let the ministers know, and then the ministers will be the one to let their people know. So it's a call list that goes down.
I can't find anything on social media that people are talking about really other than this moment in time. This is a topic that is, of course, the line of succession in and of itself is a topic of conversation as well.
I do. I agree with you 100%. William, he's been adored since he was born. He looks so much like his mother, and I don't think any of us will ever forget him and his brother standing there as her casket went by. It was heart-wrenching. I'm pretty sure I cried for days.
As we look here, we now have a live chopper shot outside of Buckingham Palace. Just take a look at the amount of people that are beginning to gather based on this news that have put there. And then look in the top left.
I'm surprised there's not more people.
Yeah, me too, actually. Look at the media gathering there in the top left-hand portion of your screen. So now a helicopter. We'll stay on this shot because this is fascinating. Just to see the amount of people that are now starting to gravitate towards the Buckingham Palace. Look, if Queen Elizabeth II were confirmed to be in Buckingham Palace this morning, the crowd would be 400, 500, 600 people deep.
Yes. And she hasn't been at Buckingham Palace all summer. She loves being at Balmoral. That's where she feels most at home. And so that's where she has spent the entire summer. And even things where she normally would do the business from Buckingham Palace, she has just done from Balmoral. So we're glad that she's able to be somewhere that she enjoys.
So as we monitor the situation here, folks, we'll continue to bring you feeds. We're here live in our stream center, saying hello to you, Lee Span, JB. We're all these screens here. We're monitoring all the different feeds that are coming in from the UK.
Yep,
including this one. We'll tap screen here. Take you back over to Balmoral, and there is clearly rain falling.
Yes. Pretty appropriate, I believe.
I was going to say symbolic.
Yeah. And it rains a lot there.
It does. That was my next thing. Rain is not out of the ordinary for the UK, but it's raining here at Balmoral. It's also raining at least off and on to an extent, as we understand it, at Buckingham Palace. Lee, have you ever been to the UK?
No, I've actually never been. I've been over to Europe, but I've never been to London and never been to Scotland. So I've been in Ireland, which now it's not part of the UK any longer, but it's such a beautiful, tight-knit community, and the people that they live so close together and in the London area that I know that this is all those millions of people will be talking about.
I want to get some comments loaded up on screen, as everybody knows who've been with us here before on previous live streams. This is execution. This feed is now switched over to a different shot.
And it is pouring.
Yeah, it's pouring there. Yeah. But I do want to feature as many questions and comments as I can out of the YouTube Live comment section. So wherever you're joining us from on YouTube Live, if you've been with us here before, you know how this works, but I'll explain this to our newcomers here. Let's get back up on screen. You see the hashtags underneath our name, hashtag HeyJB, hashtag Hey Lee. You can use any of those hashtags, and if you use that hashtag, that signals to us that you would like for us to animate your comment on screen. We can take your questions. We can just feature your comments. If you just want to send some love to the royal family, if you want to just converse with us in any way, ask questions or point out something, let us know. Now, I have seen this a lot in our comment section. Readmore 1988 saying, hey, JB, the BBC was saying that it could be a stroke. And I have not seen that myself, and I don't have access to BBC's programming. I have
Right.
access to their flow of information to social media. I don't have access to their programming. And also, too, now I'm not saying this comment is wrong. I'm not saying this comment is correct. I'm just saying, just also be very, very careful as to the information that you're getting online. But hey, Reborn, if you're joining us from the UK, you might have better access to some of the information that we do here in the United States. I
So
have seen food trucks going in and
yeah.
out, by the way. That's maybe the third
NBC is
one.
now reporting that Prince William, Prince Andrew, which is her son, Prince Edward, her other son, and his wife Sophie have all arrived in Scotland now. So they are all there, and then they will, you know, whether they are in out Balmoral or if they're just traveling between Scotland Airport and their estate there.
And the drug war today, hashtag AJB, Queen Elizabeth II forever, long live the Queen. Deanna Kelly, hashtag AJB, God bless the Queen. Again, monitoring your YouTube live comments, and we'll continue to pop them up on screen.
So everyone's at Balmoral now. Oh my God. Okay, Alice. Oh, this is so sad.
Happen, that moment of passing, it's going to be it's just going to be so impactful for so many folks in the UK, and look, here in the United States as well. I know a lot of folks who are of English descent here in the United States, like direct English descent, and this is something that really matters to them, and something that of course is, as we look here, we just got another feed. Let's show you. This is still outside of Balmoral, and we have, looks like a lady standing underneath, or at least partially underneath this umbrella, who's arriving with flowers. As word gets out, we're going to start to see more and more people arrive.
Back in 2015, Queen Elizabeth did become the longest serving UK monarch, beating out her great grandmother, I believe, Queen Victoria. But then just this year, she became the second longest serving sovereign ever, behind a French Louis the 14th, who started his reign at 4 years old. So, and I only say that to say how much she has been a stalwart through so many things in her life for that country, for that Commonwealth, for the whole world. You always look to Queen Elizabeth to say the right thing, to make things right, to give that very stoic but very heartfelt speech that she would give. And you always remember that she played the Star Spangled Banner on September 11th at Buckingham Palace, because she felt such a connection to America. And she just she has been part of all of our lives for so many years, for most of us our entire lives.
And we were listening to some of the coverage on NBC. Of course, that's our network here, WFLA, and I had some guests on from the UK, and just the amount of love that was being shared by some of the guest correspondents that were joining the programming there, talking about how much Queen Elizabeth II has always represented the country at a global level with such grace, and represented the country in everything that the monarchy stands for. It's just the outpouring of love and support from those who have been studying the royal family for so long and are scholars of the monarchy. It's touching to see. And, let me, I don't want to get too much into this, but, here in the United States, we have so many.
Oh,
what do you got?
hold on, let me just make sure. Oh, never mind. See, we got it.
Got to be careful.
A spoof account, and it looks very, very real.
Yep.
So just
be careful out there, folks.
Give the second look before you announce. Yes.
Here in the United States, so many figures are so polarizing, and it's a sad development over the last decade or so plus, to where we have, whether it's political leaders or otherwise, so many times are we talking about somebody being a polarizing figure, and to see a country rally and with love and support behind Queen Elizabeth II. Look, for me, it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming to see. It's something that I wish that we had more of here in the United States. And that just makes this more, as much as we are talking about this again as a sad day in the passing of Queen Elizabeth II potentially being today, this September 8th, 2022. We're also talking about this being a celebration of everything that she has stood for over her 96 years in this world. So it's a day that means a lot, and it does mean a little bit different, something different to people in the UK versus here in the United States, Lee.
And she is not without her times where people didn't love her as much as they do, but that is a testament to her longevity, that people, she weathered through those troublesome times when maybe she was, the royal family wasn't seen in such a good light at times. But 70 years, you're not, things are not going to go, cheery and rosy for 70 years. But it takes a strong woman and a strong family to go through that and still come out there, and in the end, everybody will be celebrating her,
including Jenny Hansen. Hashtag KJB the Queen is admired all over the world. I think that is a true.
There will never be another queen. She has done wonderful things for us. And Prince Charles lost me when he treated Lady Diana the way he did.
Health, the common response they get, it's almost automatic at this point, is that the Queen is just suffering from mobility issues.
Yes.
Which 96? Show me a 96-year-old that doesn't suffer from mobility issues. It's true. And so that is considered to be this blanket sort of automatic response. And there has been speculation that has been an overdrive of late, as to whether or not that there has been more going on with her health behind closed doors, and that just the public at large isn't being told, the media isn't being told, to not incite any panic or any further speculation.
Which is why when the Prime Minister today put out a statement, it was a little more ominous, because it's been like, oh, she has mobility issues, she's fine. But I think the part of her statement was the whole country will be concerned by the news from Buckingham Palace this lunchtime. So that's not it's more ominous feel coming from the brand new Prime Minister's two days into her term there. But knowing things that it was different. It wasn't just mobility issues. So much more is going on. The family is flying in. I've just been seeing that Meghan Markle will not be there. She will stay in London while Prince Harry goes to Balmoral. But when the family gathers, just like your family, I mean, you also think and these are her real family. I mean, they live a very public life, but in the end, everyone comes when needed.
There's I'm following, of course, BBC. Everyone's following BBC right now. And just to what we were talking about, according to BBC's medical editor, that being Fergus Walsh, he says, quote, "The palace has gone further than they ever normally do by putting out that statement."
Got it.
And so that this is just a massive indication, a form of communication that is normally very subtle, with things such as, oh, the Queen will not be able to attend such event, or the Queen is just suffering from mobility issues, that this speaks very loudly to those in the UK, and especially to those whose jobs it is to actually cover all things related to the monarch. He says that the key phrase in the statement released by Buckingham Palace earlier was that doctors were concerned. He also highlighted the significance of family members arriving at Balmoral, where the Queen has been staying over the summer. Until recently, her health has been relatively robust, and that we've all lived our lives with the Queen. So basically what that translates to is that this isn't a normal hiccup as far as the Queen's health. And we're of course trying to spread as much love and share our thoughts and prayers, of course, with those in the UK. You know, I know that from our coverage of the Gabby Petito story, Lee, we that story reached a international audience, a global audience, and I know that we have a tremendous amount of people in our YouTube comment section, especially on YouTube, that join us from the UK. I know from Twitter that there's a block that exists from WFLA content internationally. I believe the UK folks in the UK have a difficulty accessing our article content and our live player content on WFLA.com, but they're able to follow us on YouTube. If you're joining us from YouTube, throw a UK flag in the comment section. I'm just curious to see how many people are joining us. You know what? Wherever you're watching from, let's take this exercise one step further. Give us the country from where you're watching right now. Give us that flag. If you're watching from the United States, let's see a USA flag. If you're joining us from the UK, join us. Use the UK emoji. And you know what's so terrible is that my screen won't actually bring up those emojis, those flag emojis. So I got to bring it up on my phone.
So when I was, while you do that, again, while I was looking through the London Bridge protocols, the idea is that there would be a schedule of events for the 10 days between the Queen's death and her funeral. But I don't know what the protocol is for what I believe is now called, Operation Unicorn, because it may take more time to get through since she is not in Buckingham Palace, not in London. She's in Scotland. So, but it's interesting that they even have the days. There you go. There's the. They're
starting to come in. I'm trying to get it to focus. It's a lot of American flags, some Puerto Rican flags. I'm sorry, Lee, continue.
No, but I just found that interesting that they have it. It is so scripted, and so that they know that it is going to be 10 days, and they know exactly to the T what is going to happen between her death and her burial and her funeral. So, we had even heard, JB, we were talking before we came on, that it may be announced at 6 p.m. Their time, yeah. Which would be 1 o'clock Eastern time for us. We don't know if that corresponds with the BBC having their main newscast at 6 p.m. or if that's somewhere in the protocols that allows more people to find out, who need to find out from sources rather than from the news, the political folks. I don't know, but I find it very fascinating that there is this exquisitely produced protocol of what will happen between now and her funeral.
I also too. I'll go a step further. I find it a little strange.
Really?
A little bizarre that they wait for a certain time. So as I understand it, the Queen could have passed away by now, and that the announcement protocol is to do so at 6 o'clock local time.
And again, I haven't seen that. I didn't read that in.
But based on what I'm seeing too on social media, that is very likely to be the protocol, that the Queen, that it is possible. And folks, correct me if I'm wrong, because we are all learning that this hasn't happened in 80-something years. So we're in not uncharted territory, but for our lifetimes, for the most part, as Lee noted earlier, unless you are
in your 80s. I mean, she was on the throne for 70 years, so you got to give the people at least 5 years to know, 75.
And even those, if you're in your 90s, you were a kid when the last time that this happened, as far as the.
And her dad died relatively young. I mean, he had, she was not expecting to ascend to the throne in her early 20s.
Right. So this is new for all of us. Now, look, if you are a royal scholar,
not new to you.
Come on the program. You can talk with us. But I do find the announcement timing to be just a little bit strange. But you know what, though? That's not. I'm seated here in the United States. I'm seated here in Florida. We're so accustomed to when there's news of somebody passing away, it spreads like instantaneously. There's no waiting for an announcement time. But then again, we're talking about the Queen of England,
a monarch, someone who is supposedly not, a little bit more than the average human being. Theoretically, they have a higher presence in this world, is what the idea is behind a royal, that they are ordained to, which is kind of, when you think about with the Pope, like we wait for that smoke because that's how it's been for antiquity. And so maybe this is the protocols are just a thing that has always been and will always be.
So we of course talked about the flag atop Buckingham Palace. Would the flag get lowered in advance of 6 o'clock, or would they do that at 6 o'clock?
Now that's according to again what I'm reading from the London Bridge protocol. Yep. Is that should happen relatively quickly. That the call cascade goes first to the prime minister, then to the ministers, and then to the ministers to disseminate it among there. And it says ministers and senior civil servants will also receive an email from the cabinet secretary, a draft which reads, "Dear colleagues, it is with sadness that I write to inform to you the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Upon receipt of this email, flags across Whitehall will be lowered to half-mast. The aim is that this can be done within 10 minutes." So I don't know if maybe they wait to make the call to the prime minister and then they have that. I don't know why they would do that, but maybe to give the family some time. They live such public lives. Maybe give them some time to be alone with their grandmother and their great grandmother, because in the end, you remember your grandmother, and how life moves on. So maybe just a little time with the family.
Yeah, we're all witnesses, folks. We're all witnesses, and we're all following, of course, the BBC and what they are sharing.
I think I'm going to keep this going until we get some answers.
So all media agencies in the world are gravitating towards what the BBC is putting out, not on a minute-by-minute basis, but on a second-by-second basis. But again, back to just really quickly, just because the 6 o'clock thing is so foreign to me, because the moment that somebody dies, we had, former CNN correspondent Bernard Shaw died today. The moment that news is there's no protocol here for ever delaying news of somebody's passing. So this is clearly, of course, protocol that is put into place. But if for the Queen of England, but if we're talking about, let's say the Queen, here's my hypothetical. The Queen passes at 7 o'clock.
Do they wait 23 hours?
23 hours until the next day?
I don't know. Surely you wouldn't think so.
That would be.
In this day and age, that you could keep between the staff, that you could keep that quiet for 23 hours is the protocols need to change based on how the world is right now. I mean, there is going to be a staff member who texts somebody who texts someone who it would get out. So
so I'm seeing in our comment section,
yes,
that a big reason for 6 o'clock is because of the BBC broadcast being there at 6 o'clock. That's a big part of the equation. However, this
I was on mute. Yeah, this is so sad. Thanks for the reminder, Alice, because I was literally getting enthralled with this this update. It's hard to believe that she literally could already be gone, and yet they won't tell us until a certain time. Like, the protocol is so, I don't know if you'd call it regimented, but there's a definite protocol and they don't sway from it.
This would be the first time that rule would be instituted or be put into place, because the last time that this happened, there was no broadcast television.
Well, let's see, we're talking 52.
No, 52. There was early days of broadcast television.
But why?
Radio broadcast. So
Right.
maybe it's more of a
Maybe it's
radio broadcast protocol that has been carried
yes.
over to a. These are the
Yeah.
questions that I'm fascinated about being in media.
Right.
And
And that, you know, how much the world has changed in 70 years from when her father passed and she ascended to the throne to now. I mean, you couldn't even compare the two of how his death would have occurred and how that information would have been disseminated to how hers is going to be.
yeah, it's quite a thought. As we look here, I'm just keeping an eye on our feeds. This is also live from outside Balmoral. Clearly, some folks who have gathered. They're on their phones. They're communicating with loved ones. They're staying in touch with, of course, I'm sure the BBC. And yeah, the last time that we had the transition of power with the British monarchy, we're talking about social media not even being a
Right.
concept.
Yes.
So now everyone, it's interesting that everybody now is gravitating towards Twitter and Facebook or your social media or refreshing BBC. Is it BBC.com or BBC.org? I don't even know the actual website. I just usually just have it bookmarked on my computer, but I believe it is BBC.com.
IN. Yes, and the one thing I will say from keeping up with BBC is that they're being very careful about what they update. You know, they're not. You can look at some feeds, some Twitter feeds, and you know they're updating it 3 or 4 minutes every 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, they're putting out about one an hour as they learn the official. You know, there is no speculation in any of their reporting. They are the report of record, and they take that very seriously. It's clear.
It's so different. If this in a weird alternate universe where the monarchy was here in the United States, this would be just this would be a circus. This would be a circus. But I think that a level of real just respect and pride and has really taken over in the UK, and everyone is just now. You know, you mentioned the Pope earlier. This is a similar sort of emotion that is being evoked in people when we're talking about somebody who is.
Thank you so much. You're very, very right. Yeah, I'm not used to my streams running, so I'm a little forgetful. But I did want to say that still it's a little bit odd to me that they have to wait until a certain time to let us know if she's passed or not. Yeah.
Is a historical figure. I mean, we're talking about Queen Elizabeth II being an important part of history.
And, you know, there are plenty of people, especially here in America, that could say, you know, like, oh, I don't care about the royals. But everyone is saying, okay, so I don't care about the British monarchy, but I can appreciate a woman who has dedicated her whole life to her country and to her cause. And she has, when she made a radio broadcast before she was queen, or you know, when she was I think 21 years old, and she said that she would dedicate her entire life to the British people, and there is no doubt in anyone's mind that that is what she has done. Even though she became queen much sooner than anyone would have predicted, when her dad passed away and she was 25 years old, and now she has dedicated every minute of her life.
And that's exactly what she said. I'll never forget watching her coronation. And she was young. She had just gotten married. She had to get back there because he had passed. And when she gave that speech, I mean, 25 years old, she's still a baby. She worked her patootie off. She worked her butt off and did a wonderful job. I mean, people can say what they want. I've never seen anybody that dedicated in anything, actually.
To her people.
Dennis here, hashtag AJB. If the Queen passes, it will be a sad day for the world. Catherine chiming in here a little bit with something we were just talking about. Hashtag AJB, hashtag ALEAD. The BBC will broadcast it first. However, what you've said about them announcing it 23 hours later, that wouldn't happen. And you would hope that, yes, that would not happen. That that the 6 o'clock, rule, if you will, that is, of course, flexible should the Queen pass beyond that time. Here's a car let's go full screen. Look at this.
Yeah, I was wondering, this would be about the time that those who landed in
oh my goodness, here's another one.
Yeah,
I'm seeing it on multiple feeds, and
yes, I believe that
they are flying in.
They were about 45 minutes ago. They said that they had landed almost an hour, and it's about an hour's drive. So I was wondering if we had seen the family coming who landed in Scotland about an hour ago for an hour's drive arrive in Balmoral, and probably the speed at which that was so they.
So I thought I'd better put out there that I am using this under the fair use. And this is for educational purposes as well as documenting the Queen and her life.
They didn't get photographed. There have to be.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Why is it buffering?
Overhauling Royal. They were not going to let the rules of the road dictate their speed.
Lead car, some sort of police escort. I don't because streets in this area very small, not meant for speed, and so I was surprised to see that they didn't have a police escort, but maybe their drivers are well versed in it.
So, folks, here's what we're going to do. We are going to leave up our live cameras and monitor the feeds that are coming from Balmoral. Oh, we also have another feed. Let me bring this one up on the touchscreen. Showing you the flag atop Buckingham Palace. We are going to step away for a break. And what we are going to do, Lee, if you are available at 1 o'clock, up to you. What we're going to do is we're going to resume our live coverage a little bit before 1 o'clock. We're going to step away for just a moment, but the live stream will stay up, and we'll continue to bounce around between these various different feeds so that everybody can keep a close eye on what is going on outside Balmoral, what is going on outside Buckingham. And folks, we'll be back with you here in about, I would say 35 to 40 minutes here on WFLA Now.
So they're taking a bit of a break. Lots is coming out, isn't it? I don't know. I'm glad she's in Balmoral, though. That was her favorite spot. She bought it on her own not long, I don't know how many years it was after she ended up on the throne. But, yeah, she loved it out there. There's so many different articles. Excuse me. I got so many different articles and pictures, you name it, of her out there riding her horses. And I think it was just her way of getting away from all the craziness of being the Queen. I think she was actually able to go there and feel as normal as a person could when you're the Queen of England. And, we're still part of that Commonwealth. And I'm proud of that. A lot of people have different things to say about how she did things, but to me, she was an extremely loyal and, probably under that hard shell, she was probably a kind person. I loved watching some of the videos that I had seen of her laughing as Prince Harry was kind of tormenting her, as a grandson is supposed to. I do too. She was extremely supportive. Can you imagine? He married someone who was possibly going to be queen one day, and it didn't take long, and she was queen, and that pretty much put their personal life on hold, and they both did it. He got involved in the Navy, and she got busy with her duties as the queen. So, yeah, it's a sad day. And as they said, it's raining there. Let me see if they put anything else. Let's see here if I can find. I just want to. Looking. And I'm going to try this now. Okay, let's see if I caught that properly. Yay! So I thought maybe we could look at a couple of pictures of her over the years. Or are they back? Okay, they're back. Okay, not quite live, but you can hear the rain being pelted down. Oh, look at it come down. She always did what was best for England, even if it cost her personally, and it cost her so much. And she never wavered. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. She always did what she felt was best for the country. Even look when Buckingham caught fire that one time when they were under attack. She came right out staunch as it was another day. She looked it over, and they slowly rebuilt it. It's a sad day. I wonder if she ever just lost it privately in a special room. Right? Where she's allowed to smash dishes and break in soundproof walks. Yeah, right? I don't know. I would definitely need that room. I'd probably need a large room. Sure makes you wonder. And if she did she just show that side to Prince Philip? I wonder how those two guys are feeling standing. Oh, one's a girl. Oh, they're getting out of the rain, maybe? No, not a whole bunch happening there right now. Take my little break here. You know, anytime there's a death of a royal, it's a big deal. But the Queen is going to be, this is going to be unbelievable. I can just, sorry, I got talker throat. This is just going to be unreal. I'll do my best to be able to stream that as well. I seem to kind of we're starting to figure things out. Alice and Mexi Texi have been my saving grace, let me tell you. Hey, Earth Dog. Oh. I hope he's okay. Welcome back. The broadcaster's JB is just taking a bit of a break, so we're kind of chit-chatting about the Queen. You know, we were talking about how at 25 she took over that position and she never wavered. She was the Queen and she was going to be a very active Queen, and she was up until 96. Like, she just didn't she just meet the new Prime Minister? Let's see if we got any movement yet. It's just pouring rain. You can hear all the media there just buzzing. I'd stand in the rain to be there. I'd stand in a freaking monsoon to be there. Take me to a pole. Okay, I wondered why they left. They're pulling out. Earth Dog, is that fellow look like he's gonna be okay? My husband's gonna get home from work and I'm gonna be fired. My house is upside down. And he's bringing me home a new dog. I'm pretty excited about that. They haven't lowered that flag. I can see that. I can see that, Alice. I mean, as soon as she became queen, her personal life was never the same. Always people were always under her feet. People constantly around. Very little for privacy. You know, like I said, people can have their different opinions. I'm pretty loyal. She did a great job. I'd prefer that Charles and Camilla were bypassed just due to what they pulled. I don't think that was acceptable. I mean, Princess Margaret wasn't able to get away with a whole bunch, was she? And Charles has, in my personal opinion, has done a lot of really unmoralistic things. And to ask us to follow someone that has sketchy morals is going to be a big swallow for us. And as far as Camilla, well, I guess she's Camilla. I don't want her to be Queen Camilla. Oh, good God, no. But would she get the title of Queen anyways? I don't know how that works because it was never Queen Elizabeth and King Philip. He was Prince Philip. Okay, Earth Dog, diabetic. That's what I've heard. Brit Media says when you see all news reporters in black, she's passed. Oh no. I have a funny feeling about, not a good feeling about this, Earth Dog. I just, something tells me she's not with us. I'm literally watching this and my entire body is tingling. It's, oh, and then we just seen the black vehicle come out of the gates and head out. So, my word. My word. Oh, is that right? Yeah. Yep. No, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Ugh. Damn it. It's just one of those things, you know it's going to happen. And when it does, we're not really prepared for it, are we? No. I am sending so much love and light to all of the Queen's people, all of us, her family, all of her subjects. Can you imagine? Those streets are going to be packed. I'm assuming we won't hear anything from here either until BBC's back up. Is my guess. Oh, at least she can see her family again. She was heartbroken about losing Philip. You know, oh, and still you knew that, you knew that she had to be devastated. But she still, when dealing with the public, she held it together. Can you imagine spending that many years with one man? Yeah, they were destined to be together. And he did a great job of standing beside her. Or behind her, whichever way you see it. Oh, Earth Dog. Okay. I believe it. Rumor is she passed earlier today and they're waiting for all the family to be there. Oh, I think you're right. Wow. It was her daughter and daughter-in-laws, and Kate helped her. Yeah, that's a good question. I think you've got a very good point there. How did they know to go dressed in black? Yes, right, Alice? Oh, rest in peace, if this is the case. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Hopefully, and I mean, if anyone deserved to fall asleep and wake up in heaven, it was Queen Elizabeth. Yes. And I'm sure she misses a lot of her family. And hopefully, regardless of what God people believe in, I pray to God she does get to see them again. Yeah, how did they all know to go dressed in black? I mean, right? So I'm not even sure. It's 10:30 here, so I have no idea the time difference. That's very true, Alice, right? Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah, yeah. Let's hope that wasn't the case. Unreal. Hey, CJ, nice to see you. Okay. One of my absolute favorites, Crime and Justice. Good morning. She's not passed yet, as of 21 minutes ago anyway. However, end-of-life arrangements are being made, and the family is gathered. Yeah. Same time in Aberdeen. So it's 5:30 there? Earth Dog? So does that mean that the update is probably going to come in about a half hour? I know they've got... Okay. So a half hour. Oh. Good Lord. You can hear the rain. They must have a press tent set up there. I don't know why, but it seems like a half hour is a long time to wait to find out what's going on. I'm not going anywhere. Such a beautiful soul. Fair enough. I think everybody would prefer to see what's going on. I know I would. So, 20 minutes. 22 minutes. I know, Alice. I know. You can expect crocodile tears out of me if we get that news. I literally, when Diana passed away, oh my God, I cried for days. I actually wrote Dodi El Fayad's dad, and I sent it to his office in Paris. He actually received it and sent a thank you card back to me. It blew me away. But I felt so bad because she obviously cared about this guy, and he was getting crapped on. It broke my heart. It just reminded me of losses that I had had. My dad was killed in a car accident, and it just hurt me to see all of that stuff going on, and it hurt me for his dad. But the fact that they actually sent me back a card acknowledging that they had received it, my letter, it amazed me. And this is just, yeah. I cried for days and days and days. That's pretty much all we can do, right? Crime and justice? She did. She lived a very long life, a very busy life, and pretty much a very well respected life through the most of it. I'm hoping that she went to sleep. That's my hopes for her. She deserved to go in peace. So I'm going to be curious as to where Meghan and Harry end up. Are they going to show up? Are they going to sit with the family? I don't know how this is going to work. Another vehicle going in. Exactly. Head of state, head of church, all the different people that run all the different countries. It will be an amazing funeral. I'll be interested on how they... Okay, thanks, Earth Dog. Is Megan there? Oh, okay. I guess I shouldn't have said it that way, sorry. I just want Harry there. I don't care about his baby mama. I don't think she's done him any favors, in my opinion. News is they are in Europe and are headed there now. I was not expecting this. You know, I don't know how that works where you've got a 96-year-old lady and you're shocked when she gets ready to pass or has passed. I don't know how that shocks you, but it still does. Is it strange that they're in the UK? Yeah, I'm not fussy. That's funny you said that. Because I'm not too fussy on that phrase. And that's kind of why I put it out there for her. I don't know. I don't think she has done any favors for that family, and I don't consider her a royal. I consider her a baby mama. Yeah. I expected a lot more out of her and not the hate that she was throwing at that family. And she didn't just marry into a family, she married into a business. And their business was their family. That's the thing, Earth Dog. Like, has the woman got no pride? Oh, she does try to act like Princess Diana, and she is absolutely nothing like her. Nothing like her. No. That rain is sure coming down. Yeah, she's nothing like Diana. That might have been a good time to leave her at home. But she'll prance around like it's a big loss to her. I don't know how it'll work out if, well, not if, but when Charles takes over. Is he going to let his son Harry back in a little bit? Or is this just kind of a done deal? I know she did. I know she did, Earth Dog. Like, are you kidding me? That's exactly the thing. And I mean, if anything, this family liked to have peace with all of the different countries. The last thing they were was yeah, I don't buy the racist card. Isn't that amazing, Crime and Justice? Just watched a clip of the young Queen Elizabeth making a public speech. Isn't that something? So young, and she was duty bound from the time her father passed away. She didn't sway. It was always what she thought was best. And her people, I'm sure there was a team that helped her. And from 25 years old to 96 years old, that's a long bloody time. She ran that country. Well, not just the country. Poor Harry, he was close to the Queen after his mother's death, and William seemed closer to Philip. Yes, that's the thing. I've seen so many different programs that would show the Queen joking around, and it was just a different side of her. And it was kind of nice to watch. He liked to prank her. So I think she had a pretty good sense of humor. Harry's always been the Queen's favorite. I thought so. That's kind of what I had heard. And like I said, to watch the interaction, I think she kind of got a giggle out of the fact that he was full of piss and vinegar a little bit. I seen that and watched the coronation full clips. Oh, right, the coronation, I've watched it. Oh my goodness, over and over and over. So many different things with this family. And then there was Bertie, who was to be king and gave up his throne to his brother so he could marry, I can't remember her name right now, but he did marry her. And they moved away, lived their life, and her father, Queen Elizabeth's father, became king. And very short into his reign, he died suddenly. And there, of course, no male heirs, so Queen Elizabeth. Yes, that's right, Wallace. And you know, I've watched programs on Wallace that they were bringing up, now whether this is the case or not, I don't know for sure, but that she wasn't that happy with being married to Bertie either, that she was possibly in love with another man. And Wallace Simpson, right? And if that's the case, that's heartbreaking, because he gave up everything to be with her. And eventually, I guess the Queen ended up paying the price, right? I don't think she minded, but it sure did change her life. Charles ended up getting quite close to his Uncle Bertie. And I think that relationship there might have had something to do with him thinking it was okay to mess around with Camilla while he was married to Princess Diana. No excuse. Mm-mm. Oh, come on. 1 p.m. Eastern, possible announcement on Queen Elizabeth's II condition. And her mother, Queen Elizabeth I, oh my word. How could you not adore that grandma? I don't know if she was as pleasant as she looked, but oh my goodness, she just looked to me like a grandma I would have wanted. She had a very kind face, always. Ten more minutes to lift off, guys. Are we talking about Wallace Simpson, Earth Dog? Because she did have a certain look, didn't she? I'm I'm probably going to take that down for a second. Live outside Balmoral, live outside Buckingham Palace. So they should be leaving or have left Buckingham and arriving or arrived at Balmoral. I'm gonna put this back on for you guys, and I will be back in a moment. I had to get some more caffeine or I'm not going to make it. Absolutely, you can, Earth Dog. I'll get you that email address. I'm pretty quiet. Okay, Earth Dog. Hey, thanks for being here. If you want to pop in later, I'm hoping to still be here reporting on this. Take care, friend. Thanks for all your help. Pretty quiet outside of Balmoral still. Let's see if they're going to do that update. So Alice, what do you think? Oh, movement. Maybe we'll get a little bit of information here. 1 minute to 6. Let's see. Let's hope. Oh my goodness. So would this be 1 o'clock? Eastern? All these time zones, truly, I get mixed up. Oh, did Alice go? Okay. 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 Well, thank you for being here, Earth Dog. This is actually my first stream that has actually been going fairly decent. It's been a bit of, it's been interesting. You'll see in my last couple videos if you check them out. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, I have that sick feeling. Crime and Justice said, though, 21 minutes ago, she was still hanging in there. Thank you very much, Earth Dog. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. This is emotional. I know. I know. Crime and Justice popped on a little while ago, maybe not too long ago, and about a half hour ago. They were saying that she was still alive by the sounds of things. Ugh. I know. My word. She's kind of like everybody's grandma. So I wonder, where's this going to happen, Balmoral or Buckingham Palace? Right? Yes. Because the BBC, I mean, I can't get it here from Canada, but they would be the source. They would be the best source for anybody to get the updates. We're getting them through Buckingham, through the BBC, and then through our different streamers. Okay, they're 3 minutes late. Yes, yeah, I'm Canadian. And actually, my history, I do go back to England, and I don't know if you know who John Alden and Priscilla Mullins. Do you know those names, Earth Dog? If so, they're my direct great-grandparents. So I'm an Eldon. And Eldons are the ones that came over from England and made it to Plymouth. And then basically, you know, most of them didn't survive. They ended up getting from England to Plymouth Rock later into the season than they expected to. And it was a miserable trip. A lot of people didn't make it. And then when they did land, it was, a lot of people didn't make that first winter. My grandparents did. And their house is still there at Plymouth Rock. Aldon? No, Alden. Yeah. I'll put that. So, Eldon. John Eldon and Priscilla Mullins. They came over on the Mayflower. Just gonna pop out of this for a second so I don't get struck. I don't want that when I'm first learning. So yeah, I'm a yeah, I love my English relatives, very much so. You're living in my homeland. Very hard not to be attached. Yeah, absolutely, Earth Dog. You'll be surprised what you find. So we're direct descendants of royalty. It's on the Priscilla Mullins side, and it goes all the way back to like King Henry, and I think I've got my ancestry down to about almost 1000 AD. I was able to follow it quite a ways. When you've got royalty in your family, Ancestry basically puts in a file. It's called a Millennium file, and you just follow that file, and it'll show you all of your relates. They only did that with the royalty. So, yeah, if you happen to be there, it's pretty easy to track, actually. So through that, through the Eldons, one of the things I love is Marilyn Monroe is my sixth cousin, 6 times removed. Anthony Perkins is a relate. There's just Wadsworth is, I think he's a cousin. Actually, the two President Adams also related. And, well, I don't know about this one, but Dan Quayle is a cousin. Hopefully, I can't remember, but I hope he's a few times removed. This is for you. So it was the Mayflower, and this is where they built their lives. It's on Plymouth Rock. And actually, we're also, I don't know if you are familiar with Standish, but those are just kind of more Eldons. And Standishes are pretty interesting as well. I think it was Miles Standish that was kind of in charge of the Mayflower. And he ended up marrying in, or I don't know if it was him or one of his kids actually, married into the family. But one of his sons was actually in Salem and was thrown in the Hooskow for being a witch. He did escape, but those girls, those girls that were pointing everybody out, that's a witch, that's a witch. Yeah, they pointed him out, and he was able to get out. And I think he lived his life very long. He got married and had kids and just didn't go back to Salem. Keep waiting. Yeah, Ancestry is actually kind of a neat way to explore your heritage. I was able to get all sorts of really cool things that were on Marilyn Monroe's profile in Ancestry. I think I've got her driver's license framed and a wedding certificate to Joe DiMaggio. A few different things. Still pretty quiet there. So I'm wondering if we're just waiting for the BBC.
Hello again to you folks. JB and Lee here with you live on WFLA Now, live on YouTube. Apologies, we wanted to be up here back on stream about 10 or so minutes ago, but we had a tornado warning coming through. For those of you joining us in the WFLA viewing area, the Tampa Bay area, there is a tornado warning issued in Pasco County.
Around the Zephyr Hills area until 1:15. So we are currently live with 2 meteorologists on air with that. So please, if you're in the eastern portion of Pasco County, in the Tampa Bay region, please take cover and continue to keep us on stream in your phone. Just go to your safe space.
Meanwhile, here in the UK, the time has now switched over to 6 o'clock. The time is now 6 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock Eastern. And this is the time, as we understand it, based on protocol for the royal family, that we would get some form of an announcement. So we are on standby for that announcement and keeping our ears and eyes very closely locked to the BBC. Lee,
they did not. Yeah, it's because I was expecting it to be put someone with their finger on the send button at 1 o'clock our time, but that has not happened, which may mean that she is in fact not passed on, that she is in her final hours with her family.
Right. I think that there has been quite a deal. It's unavoidable. Speculation is when you're talking about a story of this magnitude. So I think that there was a lot of folks wondering that
There's also a
this
beautiful
was going to be it. Right? I mean, that the Queen had passed hours ago, and that this was going to be it at 6 o'clock local time in the UK for that announcement. But it could very well be that, yeah, that the Queen is in her final hours, and we are on standby, of course, for breaking news coverage for the Queen's passing. But as of right now, no announcement yet. But there is almost a minute by minute protocol that is put into place, correct, in the aftermath of the Queen passing, and including various different people being informed of the news. How does that exactly work? I mean, obviously, if the royal family is in the room with her, they're the first to know. They're going to be there, obviously, with medical staff as they monitor the Queen's condition. However, in the aftermath of the Queen passing, it's a domino effect of different
they're calling
things
it
that trigger.
Call cascade. So it starts, the doctors will make the announcement. The first, the family will be there, but the first person who's called is the prime minister, and from there, the call cascade begins, and it goes down to the cabinet secretary, which is Britain's highest-ranking civil servant, and then a number of the most senior ministers and officials. So the prime minister will be informed of the king's by the Queen's private secretary, who will also tell the Privy Council office, which coordinates government work on behalf of the monarch. From there, the royal household will issue an official announcement and deliver the news to the public. There is already a script written for that notification, and it will, with the words to be used, including discretion is required, because it's not yet public when it is sent from the secretaries to the ministers. But the ministers and the senior civil servants will then receive the email from the cabinet secretary, and that's when, upon receipt of that email, flags across Whitehall will be lowered to half-mast, with the aim to do that within 10 minutes of that email. So there is a very strict protocol. Quick side note here. We had this live picture from Buckingham Palace. Wish we could have taken it about 10 minutes ago. There was a beautiful rainbow that I'm seeing all over social media.
Wow.
Because it's been raining in London. It's been raining in Scotland.
It's absolutely clearing up here. There's no doubt.
And that's why it's very appropriate that there would be a beautiful rainbow right over Buckingham Palace right about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you can. It's obvious here in the center of your screen that things have really opened up. The skies have opened up. For how long? Lee, of course, a meteorologist with 2 seals. She's not monitoring the weather at this moment in the UK, although I'm sure you could, if you wanted to, bring it up in a quick moment. But look, rain in the UK is nothing out of the ordinary, even though there have been a lot of folks online and in our YouTube comment section that have been commenting about the symbolism of there being rain outside opening up. So we're continuing to monitor a situation. And TJ Leonard has this question. Again, you can use hashtag AJB, hashtag Hey Lee. We can animate your comments on screen. Wanting to know, is Harry there yet?
I don't believe so, because we've been given sort of from the BBC, from the the official record, when people have arrived. And we heard that Harry has, although Meghan is not coming with him. And as a side note to that, Kate is not with Will either. Will arrived driving a car with his uncle Andrew in the front seat and his other uncle Edward, not Edward, sorry, yes, Edward, and his wife in the back seat. We saw them driving very quickly after they had landed in Scotland to Balmoral. Harry was not with them at the time. He was coming from another area, and Meghan is going to stay in London, and he's going to arrive later. And since we haven't heard any word that he has arrived, I don't believe that he has.
And we should keep a close eye then on Balmoral Castle, because if the previous royal convoy arriving was any indication, Harry's arrival would be in a similar fashion, probably fast, very fast, to the point where we would miss it if I'm not on it.
And
so
it also looks like it's not raining there anymore. It was pouring earlier, and so I'm sure it's very drizzly, but I mean it was coming down 10.
Yeah, it does seem to be clearing up. How old is the Queen? I think she's 96 now. And yeah, it's saying that her family's basically there. Now, I have heard one report that says Megan is there, and these guys are now saying that she's not. So I'm not quite sure what's happening as far as that goes. Let's see here.
15, 20 minutes ago.
Let's remind our audience one more time, and I feel a responsibility to do this as much as possible, especially now that the time has switched over to 6 o'clock local time there in the UK, 1 o'clock Eastern here. Just please be mindful of how much speculation, misinformation, and just misdirections that there are going to be online. Really look for the validity and credibility of that information. And really, if it's not BBC
with the check mark, because a lot of people are making accounts with their logo,
you got to pay attention to the right Twitter profiles, Twitter accounts, and two, that there are clever ways, maybe not that clever, but clever enough that some people get fooled, where it looks like a check mark next to the handle, and it's not. It is not a check mark. That to me is deplorable. I despise that conduct. It is something that is at my very core, something that I actively work. Anybody who has followed me on social media for a long time knows that my number one core priority when it comes to doing live.
We'll pause him for a second. Would you play NBC News? Let me see if I can find that, where they'll allow me to stream. I'm looking. I'm looking.
Streaming is spreading good information online and avoiding the speculation and the misdirections and all of the different people that are out there that are trying to profit off of your off of your clicks. So just be very, very mindful of how much misinformation that likely exists out there and how many people are trying to capitalize on this moment.
I know some people may be joining us now because we said at 1 o'clock there would be this possible announcement. That is what we had heard, that sort of the protocol would be at the 6 p.m. time in Britain, that they may make an announcement and that the BBC would be the one to announce it. It has not come across the BBC's Twitter. To my knowledge, it's not been announced. So it could be that she is in fact in her final hours and has not yet passed away. But JB and I were discussing this earlier, that a lot of times with someone like Queen Elizabeth, or really a lot of high profile people, there's not a public announcement of all of their ailments. So it's been recently, she has mobility issues. She's resting. But the one that came out today was especially hard. In fact, the Prime Minister sent out the brand new Prime Minister, the one who was just appointed 2 days ago.
Liz Truss, right?
Yes, Liz Truss. She says the whole country will be concerned by the news from Buckingham Palace this lunchtime. So it was clear the family has rushed to be at her side, and all indications are that this is near the end for Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, talk about an interesting moment as far as all the various broadcast channels, television, radio, digital, and otherwise. M. Martin, fan for life, #KJB. It will be clear when announced all TV and radio in Great Britain will pause programming, and the BBC will announce it over all channels.
Thank you, Martin. That's because again, here in America, we're learning about these type of protocols. We don't have anything quite like the BBC, which is such a of record over there that does so much of the announcements.
Yeah, just monitoring a lot of different screens here.
We did, just taking a look back at a British monarch who served longer than any British monarchs in history. 70 years. She just.
I'm not too sure, Mexi Texi. They tend to keep a lot of that stuff really close to the vest when it when it comes to this type of thing. They tend to not. Sorry about all the noise. They tend to not tell us a lot. But she's 96 years old, so I'm sure she's been going through a lot. And I mean, there's been so many illnesses going around that if she even got one, it's not good. And yeah, no, she didn't just get sick overnight. And they like to keep that stuff hidden from us for as long as they can. I'm hoping that they give that presser soon. They're late.
Celebrated. She ascended to the throne when her dad died. She was 25 years old. Officially, the coronation took place a couple of years later, but essentially became queen at 25. She's served with this latest Liz Truss appointed prime minister, 15 prime ministers. She's there have been 14 presidents while she has sat on the throne for Great Britain. She's now even the second longest serving sovereign ever, behind Louis XIV in France, who started at 4 years old. So, a lot of the British people, a lot of the people of the world, have gone through so much with this queen. She has brought us through wars and hard times and good times, and we've relished seeing her family grow up and then have new babies, and and through it all, she has been there. And there are not too many people left who have real vivid memories of a time when she wasn't the queen.
Catherine Porter here, #KJB, #Lead Nothing as of yet, but Harry still isn't at Balmoral, so maybe waiting for him before the announcement. That would be, of course, something that would show just how rock solid this family really is to not make the announcement before, of course, Harry has made his way to Balmoral, where the Queen is located. TJ and others in our comment section, I do see, and to Kay, man, I do see your comment. There's no way for me to establish any validity there. And not saying that I don't believe you, but there's just again, it's difficult when there's just so much potential for misinformation to be spread. I'm not saying that I do not believe you. I'm just saying that it's not a comment that I can repeat or share out just because of its just how highly speculative it is in nature. Again, it's not because I don't believe you. Just want to make that clear.
And I've even talked about that. JB is sort of behind the scenes is how careful the BBC is about the tweets that they are putting out. And we're so used to getting speculative tweets and tiny little updates every 5 to 10 minutes that,
TMZ or otherwise. Yeah.
And so waiting 30, 45 minutes between very structured tweets, it's become, I want to see more, but I also know that those are the ones that we need to read, and not the ones that are speculating or people just guessing at what's going on right now.
Sarah Nicole, #KJB, do we know when Harry might arrive?
I have not seen that anywhere.
I have not, no. And so Mr. Vista, #KJB, have they given a time frame? So the time frame that we were given based on protocol was that 6 o'clock local time in the UK. That's GMT time zone, as I understand it. That would be a possible window for when news might be announced, but that was 12 minutes ago and no announcement yet. So that has come and gone. And that doesn't tell us much. That doesn't tell us much as to whether or not the queen um, is on, because commenters bring up a good alternative point that they could be waiting for the entirety of the family to be in attendance before they make such a heartbreaking announcement for the nation. It's just there's just so much unknown of what is going on beyond these gates. There was something interesting that I had read a time ago about might they get posted outside the grounds as well.
That I have not seen that. I do know that they stopped the changing of the guards outside of Buckingham Palace, and I don't know where that fits in the things that happen around this passing, or if it was something that wasn't related at all. Because a lot of the protocols that would happen, they've leaked out over the years. When she dies, who is told, and things like that. But it was kept in a pretty closely guarded secret for a long time. And I was talking about it. The code name for it is London Bridge, meaning London Bridge is down, would be the beginning of these protocols. But the Today Show has been reporting that London Bridge protocols, or if she were to die in London at Buckingham Palace per se, but she is not there, and she hasn't been there all summer. She's at Balmoral, she's in Scotland, and so there are already protocols for that as well, and they are saying that that is called Operation Unicorn. So maybe the 6 p.m. time frame was for London, but because it's a more of a distance away, I don't know. Some of these are, again, closely guarded secrets.
Yeah, and we don't know what protocol exactly, which operational procedure is going to be followed, just because this isn't something that happens every 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, or 5 years. Closer to 5 decades, and even
7 decades.
Even then, we're up to 7 decades with this current transition of power. So, from one monarch to another, it's just there isn't precedence in our lifetimes, Lee,
Right.
that we can reference and discuss and say, oh, it happened this way when, I remember when I was, 18 years old. No. That's not something that we can rely on. So the world, we were talking about this earlier, the world has dramatically changed in the last 7.
Hi, Earth Dog. I don't usually, a lot of times when I'm on here, I'm in Canada. I usually don't stream myself. I'm usually cleaning house, cleaning cages, chasing after pets, and I don't want to scare y'all away. No, I just came on. It's one of the few times I have. I, being brand new at this, I'm just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Holy crap. Great big massive fly. Looks like a pterodactyl.
70 years.
Yeah, the fact that they televised her coronation in 1952, that was a big thing, that it was televised. And now, I mean, we are getting shots, live pictures from outside of their Scotland estate, waiting for news of her grandson arriving and watching him drive in. I mean, the stark difference of the way the world works between 1952, when she ascended to the throne 70 years ago, and now. And again, we were saying you would have to be at least 80 to have any.
So 70 years ago. That is a long time to rule a country. Yeah, oh good. I thought because I was concentrating on typing BBC. No, I just usually have my logo on, so this part of my personality doesn't shine. Oh, my goodness, this poor family. And I mean, that's what people have to remember, is this is a family. Look at, oh, good Lord. This is a family. This isn't just our queen. This is somebody's mother. This is somebody's grandmother, great grandmother. you know, and I'm not going to fix this, am I? So, yeah, we have to remember that she is not just our queen. She is also somebody's family member.
Any
Wow.
memory of her father, King George, who didn't serve very long, and I've been telling talking to people behind the scenes that how interesting her life was, to have been a small child, a young child, but still one that has memories. She remembers not being in line to the throne at all.
At, we don't have any.
Where'd my volume go? Did I lose my volume, guys? Can you hear the stream? I'm looking, see if I can find another one. Mm. Okay, I'm going to try something else. Hi. Let's try this again. Not a good time to lose. Oh, how on earth did this happen now? Unless there's no volume on there. Can you guys hear that stream? Oh, okay.
WFLA Now will begin momentarily. WFLA Now will begin momentarily.
Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. You will be missed. You will be greatly missed.
Now, here is JV Buno.
Live outside Buckingham Palace, Queen Elizabeth II has passed away at the age of 96. The royal family putting out the announcement to the world moments ago, saying the Queen has died peacefully at Balmoral Castle this afternoon. The King and Queen consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. JB here with you live, folks, on WFLA Now, alongside Lee Spann here at WFLA. Terrible news, of course, that we are following out of the UK. As terrible as it is, too, of course, for so many people around the world, also, too, a celebration of Queen Elizabeth II's life, as we're fixated on Buckingham Palace and the flag located atop Buckingham Palace, Lee.
And now the soon-to-be named King Charles should, according to protocol, address the nation in a televised broadcast today on the day of her death. And the Prime Minister will hold an audience with soon-to-be named King Charles, while the Ministry of Defense will organize gun salutes and a moment of silence will be held across the country. And I say soon to be named because there is a very strict day by day of set of events that will happen in the next 10 days from her death to her funeral. And it is on the second day when the Session Council will name Charles as the new king, and a proclamation will be read out at St. James Palace and the Royal Exchange. So right now he is soon to be named King Charles and will be named tomorrow.
If there is something divine about this moment, it has to be related to the weather, because we were monitoring this all day long, Lee, and it was pouring outside of Buckingham Palace. It was also pouring right here. We'll hit the touchscreen and go live to Balmoral Castle. It was pouring here as well. And now all of a sudden, the skies have opened up and the sun is shining down both locations.
And there was a beautiful double rainbow across. I mean, if you haven't seen it on social media, you really should, right over Buckingham Palace. About 30 minutes ago, which would coincide actually with probably about the time of her death, from considering how the call cascade, as it is called, the Prime Minister, newly named Liz Truss, just 2 days ago, was appointed by Queen Elizabeth. She would be the first person to be called, and then she would let her people directly under her know, and that call cascade would go. And they say, about 10 minutes from the time that most people get an email on social media that the flag would be lowered. And so go back about 10 to 15 minutes. That's when that beautiful rainbow, really double rainbow right over Buckingham Palace formed, the rain stopped, and the sun began to shine.
I think there's a tweet that is going to break Twitter. And I say that with as much love as I possibly can, because BBC Breaking News and other BBC outlets have put out the tweet saying that Queen Elizabeth II, the UK's monarch for the past 70 years, has died at the age of 96. And in 7 minutes is up to 115,000 likes, 83,000 retweets, and 3,000 comments, as comments are pouring in now from around the world, sending, of course, love and prayers to the royal family, and putting out there, and I'm reading them coming in on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live. Hello to wherever you are watching from. You are welcome in our comment sections. We read your comments live. Those comments being most commonly, rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II.
She has stood so strong for so long, ascending to the throne at such a young age, just a young mom of 2 at that point. Her and Prince Philip, she was 25 years old in 1952 when her father passed away quite young. And she has stood through wars and through good times and bad times and economic downturns and economic thriving. And of course, the scandals. And there has, you can say what you will about the royal family, but you cannot say that Queen Elizabeth did not devote every moment of her life to the people of Great Britain and really the people of the world, because when things happen, major events happen, we hear from Queen Elizabeth, and we all want to hear from Queen Elizabeth, and that will be a
Rest in peace. This is heartbreaking.
just like her predecessor.
Again, JB and Lee here with you live, folks, on WFLA Now. We keep our eyes and our attention and our hearts locked with Buckingham Palace here in the center of your screen. The crowd is only growing larger, but my goodness, how heartwarming it is to see the sun appear for the first time, at least on our live stream. We've been live over the last several hours, and we'll continue to stay here with you live. We're going to be reading your comments as well out of the Facebook Live and YouTube Live comment section. Just such an incredible outpouring of support for Queen Elizabeth II and the royal family coming out in our Facebook Live and YouTube Live comment sections. But what I'd like to do is read this BBC News alert. Of course, BBC News having direct ties to the royal family when it comes to news of this magnitude. And this alert reads as follows. This is very powerful. The Queen's death brings to an end the longest reign in the history of the United Kingdom and one of the longest reigns by any head of state. Elizabeth II became queen on the death of her father, King George VI, on the 6th of February of 1952. She held her coronation at Westminster. Oh, and now more updates are coming in, so they're refreshing on my screen. I apologize. Westminster Abbey. The following year, her reign of 70 years was 7 years longer than that of Queen Victoria, leading the monarchy from the final years of the British Empire into the age of social media. She became one of the world's most recognized and respected figures. I can't help but think about just how powerful of a moment this is in multiple respects, but this is a combination day of sadness, but also celebration for Queen Elizabeth II and her life. 7 decades. We've been talking about it, Lee, over the last couple of hours on the YouTube live stream. But think about how different the world was